This is Engage. It's your drive time entertainment choice and lifestyle right here on the family station Love 101. I'm Kalando. Good afternoon and welcome to the show. It's a good and happy Friday, but I'm not seeing anything. You know, this off studio thing doesn't really work for me. I feel like you're kind of speaking to a blank. What do you call that thing now? Darkness. Can we get some light?
There's a lot of light inside here. You should be here.
I imagine it would be great to see it.
Right. No, you know why there's things right in my face and not turning it on.
Anthony fixes the light. Here's my intro to you. If you've ever doubted yourself in stepping out there to accomplish your dreams, well, take note of this. All dreams are within reach. All you have to do is keep moving towards it. So says actress Viola Davis. And speaking of actresses, we're saying congratulations here from Engage to the great Shirley Lee Ralph, because she's been on our show a couple of times, and it's coming up, right? And so she won herself an Emmy for a show I have not seen. Have you seen the show? I think it's Abbott or something like that.
We'll try to have her next week on the show. I was trying to get through to her, but was getting through to her.
Yeah.
So we tried.
Quite busy. One would imagine, right?
Very busy with all sorts of engagement, but it was great to be able to say a personal congrats to her. Having been on the show many times to talk about her various projects and stuff. Anyway, Jermaine Edwards, well, he tops the Sterling Gospel Award nominations. That happened last night. Someone did call me if I was going to be able to make it. I didn't think I was going to. Tried to, just never got around to that. Levy's Heritage, well, they've got some new music they've got to release, and Shirley Lee got her first Emmy. I think she's in her 60s. I saw an interview with her talking about, if you don't get it in your 40s, go after it. If you don't get it in your 50s, if you don't get it in, whatever. Keep going. In your world of music, we feature some gospel pop tunes to get you energized. This is Engage. It's a drive time entertainment choice right here on Family Station Love 101. Clearly, I'm going to have no light from... I'm just going to see studio for the whole time. It's okay. We'll be back.
The National Football Program is undergoing several changes, and the Sports Talk will assess them this weekend. Join us this Saturday, September 17 from 1 to 2 p.m. as we discuss the appointment of Jaime Hallgrimsson from Iceland as the new Reggae Boys head coach. We also talk about Captain Andre Blake being dropped from the upcoming game against Argentina after he criticized the Jamaica Football Federation. So tune in to Sports Talk with me, Daniel Blake, this Saturday, September 17 from 1 to 2 p.m. as we discuss the new Reggae Boys head coach and the controversy surrounding Captain Andre Blake. Right here on Love 101, the family station.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's bulletin board is on your family station, Love 101.
I'm Tammy.
I'm Wayne.
And we are the Mitchells. Our life is a busy vibe.
We have our vlogging and music.
Entertainment for the kids.
Them love the online gaming, you see.
And streaming enough shows.
So whether we are at home or on the road,
Flow Yard and Road is made for our vibe.
Power your everywhere vibe with Yard and Road and get up to 150 megabits per second fiber fast internet at home and fully loaded mobile with unlimited social and YouTube data. Anywhere talking text plus gigs and gigs of any use data, all for a special offer of $4,999 plus GCT. Yard and Road is for the way you live. Flow, Jamaica's network. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Colgate Triple Action. 3 benefits for a deep clean. As a mother, you always want to give the best to your family and to make them happy. With Colgate Triple Action, you give them 3 reasons to smile: cavity protection, whiter teeth, and fresh breath. A unique formula with a minty flavor they will love. Colgate Triple Action. Find it at your favorite store.
Hello! Rata just got better with a new prime Rata on Digicel, Jamaica's #1 LTE network. Serious? With up to 15 gigabytes of any use data, up to 2,500 minutes for calls. Plus dedicated data on Digicel apps, which now includes data for Spotify, Apple Music, and HBO Max. There's no better plan for all your content needs. Say less. Me gonna get a plan up on the My Digicel app. Mr. Rata! Activate a prime Rata bundle today for as low as $195.
Nobody loves me the way you do. Hey, this is Kevin Downswell, and you're tuned in to Engage with your boy, Kalando. Blessings.
Hey, if you're just joining us, it's time for the updates. According to the story of Jamaica Observer, gospel artist and producer Jeremy Edwards is leading the nominees for the 6th annual Sterling Gospel Music Awards, which is scheduled for October 8th at the Ambassadors on Hackett Park Road. The nominations were revealed on September 8th on the event's social media platforms. Edwards had 6 nominations in categories: Male Artist of the Year, Collaboration of the Year, Local Hit of the Year, and Local Hit Producer of the Year. DJ Nicholas secured 4 nominations, while Singh Orville Sutherland secured 3. Other multiple nominees include Rhoda Isabella Chosen, DJ Zeal, and Victor Brown. Sutherland himself, Mr. Did he do a song about some gun? Can't remember now. He was in high spirits, it says, when the Observer spoke with him. He says, I must say I'm filled with gratitude to be among some of Jamaica's best acts for the 2nd year in a row. Truly, God has been faithful. That's how he capped off his comments around his nominations. He earned nods for Male Artist of the Year, Collaboration of the Year, Serious Times featuring Jeremy Edwards, and Video of the Year for Nothing But the Blood. DJ Nicholas was just as ecstatic when he learned of his nominations for Album of the Year, the Decibels Male Artist of the Year, the Collaboration of the Year, Dance Off featuring Jason Mighty, and Make a Way featuring Sherwin Gardner. It's always a good feeling, he says, to get acknowledged for your work. It's a great feeling of appreciation. He, I guess, concluded. O'Shane McHugh, teacher of Kingston College and an emerging gospel act, was nominated in the Breakout Sensation of the Year category, and he enjoyed a good year scoring radio hits such as Don't Worry and Second Chance. And then he says, when I got the news about nomination, it was like a feeling of shock because I didn't know that I would have been nominated, and now I'm just like extremely happy and overwhelmed, he said. Victor Brown is nominated for EP of the Year for his EP called Heart Work, and also Breakout Sensation of the Year. And for his part, he said, when I heard about the nominations, my reaction was, what? Well, he said what a couple of times, and honestly thought it was some kind of prank that someone was playing on him. And when he looked on Instagram, he realized that it was not a prank. So he had to sit down and calm himself because his hands were shaking. Nominated for Female Artist of the Year is Petra K. Linton. Last year, she released her album Sing Praises, and she says, I'm feeling good, for God's grace is upon me to be nominated, and also for the fact that I was nominated among such other great ministers in that category. Other nominees for the Female Artist of the Year category include Rhoda Isabella, Marian Hall, and Marvia Providence. Levy's Heritage, Unity Singers, and Perpetual Sounds of Praise they're going to compete for the Group of the Year award, while Samuel Made Us, Blessed, Messenger, Positive, Emerald Henry, and Jared Nurse are up for Caribbean Artist of the Year. In the category of International Artists, the nominee is Maverick City Music, Chandler Moore, Minister CUG, GUC, And Elevation Worship. Okay. Well, dynamic gospel group Levy's Heritage is gearing up to release a new single called Champion. And although there are no snippets for this one as yet, there are encouraging folks to stay tuned because they're going to drop this one next month. So that's like a new music alert for you. Let's be on the lookout for that one. So now to the international scenes, and according to, well, we all saw it everywhere, all over. I don't know where you are if you haven't seen it, but the Gleaner did also report that Shirley Rav was so moved by her Emmy win, she to respond in song. She took the Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actress in the comedy series on Monday night for her role as a devoutly religious kindergarten teacher on ABC's Abbott Elementary. It's the first Emmy for the and first nomination for the 66-year-old Rav, who was in tears and had to gather herself after accepting the trophy. Do we have a clip of it? Hear her singing. She opened her speech with a powerfully delivered a cappella version of the song "Endangered Species" by Diane Reeves. But I'm an endangered species, but I sing a victim song. Can we hear it? Did we get it? Her win and reaction working. Okay, very good.
I am an endangered species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know where my voice belongs.
Yeah, and that was it. Well, that's how the 66-year-old Charity Rapp, Jamaican. Was she born here, or do we all know her mom as the late Ivy Rav, fashion designer, and now her daughter is doing big things on the global stage and repping Jamaica all the way. Did you see any of her interviews?
I think I saw one on E.
Yeah, that's the one where she was saying in Jamaica, people say what there?
What for you cannot be unfair, something to that effect.
Yeah.
She spoke about her godfather, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson.
Yes, I did see that, and how he called her or he messaged her or
right.
Something.
Yeah.
That's nice. Didn't realize that relation was happening, but anyway.
But I thought we were gonna hear the speech.
Okay, well, let's hear the speech.
To anyone who has ever had a dream and thought your dream wouldn't, couldn't come true, I am here to tell you that this is what believing looks like. This is what striving looks like. And don't you ever give up on you, because if you get a Quinta Brunson in your corner, if you get a husband like mine in your corner, if you get children like mine in your corner, and if you've got friends like everybody who voted for me, cheered for me, love me, thank you.
All right. Congratulations. I was happy for her. Obviously, I like Shirley Rav. I'm a fan, so I'm glad. I've never seen the show, so now clearly I'm gonna have to try and figure out,
right,
where to find the show and watch ABC. I don't even know what that means. Does that mean it's on Disney as well?
Well, I'm not unsure.
I wish it Could be. It should be on Disney Plus, given that isn't that yeah, ABC is part of that whole Disney thing. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe we'll get it on Disney Plus so that more people in the world
Oh, the
can see it.
producer says it's not on Disney.
It's not?
Right, that's what he says.
Okay. Maybe TVJ is gonna try and get it for next season for obvious reasons. I'd love to see it. Obviously, if it's an Emmy-winning performance, and obviously they've got their eyes on that, so it'd be nice to see. That takes care of your e-updates for today, and well, we've got some interesting conversations about castor oil in a bit.
The National Football Program is undergoing several changes, and the Sports Talk will assess them this weekend. Join us this Saturday, September 17 from 1 to 2 p.m. as we discuss the appointment of Jaime Hallgrimsson from Iceland as the new Reggae Boys head coach. We also talk about Captain Andre Blake being dropped from the upcoming game against Argentina after he criticized the Jamaica Football Federation. So tune in to Sports Talk with me, Daniel Blake, this Saturday, September 17 from 1 to 2 p.m. as we discuss the new Reggae Boys head coach and the controversy surrounding Captain Andre Blake, right here on Love 101, the family station.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's bulletin board is on your family station, Love 101.
On Sunday, September 18, the People's National Party will host its 84th annual conference under the theme Time Come for a Better Jamaica, beginning at 1 p.m. Leader of the opposition and president of the People's National Party, Mr. Mark Golding, will be addressing the nation. Listen at 1:30 p.m. as Love 101 FM will be on location. This broadcast is sponsored by the People's National Party. That's the People's National Party 84th annual conference this Sunday, September 18 at 1:30 p.m. live on the family station, Love 101.
You know that over the years, for centuries actually, healthcare providers and folk healers have been using castor oil because of the many benefits it provides. But what happens when people who exploit it take hold of the rich product produced on our Jamaican soil? Well, today we're going to talk with Director of Mona Institute of Applied Sciences, Dr. Howard Reed, and we're going to learn more about how Jamaica can strike gold in protecting and making this rich product. Dr. Reed, how are you?
Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me to join you.
Welcome. We see we've. Are you hearing me? Seems like it. Okay, good. Have a slight delay. Here you are.
Yes.
All right. I am a strong believer in the fact that Jamaica can produce things that we give to the world, right? So we give our gifts to the world. I know that many people have arguments all the time about reggae music and how we're not exploiting, and I'm like, well, we've gifted the world with reggae music, and people can add to it and keep expanding what reggae music can do to the world. And so having that kind of basic philosophy, why should it matter that people would deal with the castor oil in the way that you are concerned that we're not benefiting enough from it? Why should it matter?
Well, it matters because it is part of our history, our heritage. It is an oil that came, the beans came over with our forefathers, our formerly enslaved forefathers, and it came over 400 years ago. And they had a tradition in Africa which the enslaved persons in Jamaica modified, and the method that came out over the centuries is that we take the castor beans, we roast it, we mash it in a mortar and pestle, boil it in water, and then we skim off the oil. And that turned out to be something magical. Magical in the sense that our forefathers never had, it's part of our herbal folklore. So we never had formal medicine. So on the plantation, the slaves had to look after themselves. And Jamaican black castor oil turned out to be a liniment in that it's anti-inflammatory. It turns out to be antimicrobial, antibacterial. So when we had wounds and cuts, etc., it is what we used. And that the process of making Jamaican black castor oil was refined throughout the centuries through villages in Jamaica, primarily by the village women of Jamaica. And turning into the 19th century when they started to allow us to go to school, it was what was used to wash out, after the mango season in the summer, you get a good wash out, and it was black castor oil. So it's a plus. And let me tell you why it's even more important. So when we started to migrate, when they called us to build the Panama Canal in 1914, Jamaican black castor oil went with us to Central America. When we started to migrate to the UK, to the US, it went. So this oil now has been discovered by the world. And it's used, as many of your listeners may know, as a skin, it's in lotion, used for hair. So it is our
right. And okay, so you having this knowledge of the history, I'm sure there are other people who also have the knowledge of the history. What has prevented us as a people from, first of all, I never learned all this history when I was growing up. About you knew about castor oil and you knew that you use in here and so on, but in terms of understanding where it came from and how what role it played with our forefathers, in period of enslavement, and why it matter with us, I didn't get that. So maybe I'm answering a part of my question that there's the whole thing of the education system and it being missing. But as a commercial product, it's not now that we're selling castor oil. Why haven't we done better?
So essentially, it's a cottage industry in Jamaica. Women mostly and men make it in the villages. It was when people came back from abroad, you gave them some and they took it with them because they wanted it for their hair, etc. But what has happened is that as the popularity of the oil grew, we did not commercialize. One of the things we do very well here in Jamaica is that we don't put science into our industries. So what happened is that as it grew, we couldn't meet the demands. And our competitors, non-Jamaicans, capitalized on this. And they grow acres of castor. So there are different kinds of castor. So you have commercial grade castor oil, which is the cheapest, which is chemically extracted. You have what you call cold pressed castor oil, which is popular for both skin and hair as well. And then you have at the top of the shelf, the premium castor oil in the world is Jamaican black castor oil. So because of the value, I should tell you, it is 5 to 7 times more valuable than any of the other castor oils.
Wow. Then how am I not dripping in castor oil gold as a Jamaican? We don't produce enough?
The issue is that they recognize the value and they started to make either imitations. It's not from Jamaica, it's not Jamaican black castor oil, but they made it to satisfy the market. And we have not caught up. And the major problem is that having this valuable product, we never told the world what is Jamaican black castor oil. We never made a standard. So so I'm from the Mona Institute of Applied Sciences in the Faculty of Science and Technology at UWI. So we got involved with this project about 3 years ago. And we looked at it and said, the problem is we didn't tell the world what Jamaican black castor oil is. So we need a standard.
Right.
And when we consulted the legal people, etc., they told us that a critical part of any standard is the seed material. So what we're doing, we applied to a project called Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, which is funded by the Government of Canada, the Inter-American Development Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the Commonwealth and Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom, which is looking to spur innovation across 13 Caribbean territories. And we also partnered with there's a project called the Jamaica Baptist Union Castor Cluster and with the Jamaica Castor Industry Association. And we put in a proposal and we said, let's sort this out. And we were successful. Right. So in the of actually sampling across the island for different kinds of castor, we have divided the island into different microclimatic zones. We're collecting castor seed, leaves, leaf samples, seed samples, leaves for DNA, etc. So the point is, and we're going to make oil from all these accessions. And we're also collecting Jamaica black castor oil from all the people who make it across the island, because we want that to be part of the standard. Right. So one thing I wanted to say on your program is that we'd really love persons who know people who make Jamaican black castor oil to have them give us a call at the Mona Institute. And at some point, I'd like to give you the contact information so we can...
You can go ahead and repeat it later.
Okay, so our telephone numbers are 876-970-2021 or 876-970-2042. Or if they want to email us, they can email us at projects08.mias.ue@gmail.com. And so what we'll do, so we want to ensure that when we make the standards, so we're working with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. So we're collecting the data, we'll feed it to the Bureau, to a standards committee, and then we'll say, what is Jamaican black castor oil? And we want to ensure that everybody's castor oil is a part of this. Right. And from that now, we're going to be applying for a geographic indication. And what a geographic indication is, it is a sign that we'll put on products that meet the criteria that's set up by the Bureau. Primarily that it comes from Jamaica with Jamaican plants and made in the unique way that we make Jamaican black castor oil. And it means that our competitors can't call their oil Jamaican black castor oil. And why that's important is that the global market for Jamaican black castor oil is $300 million US.
Right. And right now we have how much of that?
Jamaica, less than 5 million.
All right, about 300 million. So we're leaving 295 million on the table. And I don't even know. Communication was my thing more so than math. You can probably calculate it better for me to tell me how much billions of Jamaican dollars that is we're leaving the table.
That's well over 30 billion Jamaican dollars.
30 billion Jamaican.
Now, if I could put that in context, our entire agricultural exports in 2020 was 238 million US dollars.
Wow. So imagine if we were able to even get half of the value, or even a quarter of the value of that now.
And if you could think of the jobs as well that would come from that. And you know what's exciting about this? We have lost sugarcane to a large extent. And if you and I know what's there to your heart, my heart, and many of your listeners' hearts, is that in many of our communities where people are listening to, sugar was the bread and butter. Right. So really need to find a replacement industries, and what you find, the young people in these communities have nothing to do. So if we're able to do this and other products like this, we can really transform our country.
Absolutely. But I have two things I've thought about based on your conversation. One is the fact that Jamaica is known as we're the sample countries, that's what they call us, where we can make a lot of samples, but in terms of being able to
samples, yes,
right, we can make the samples or the prototypes, or there's another term that's not coming to me just now. However, when it's time for the high volume production, we fall short. So I'm going there because I'm saying you indicated that part of the problem is we never told the world about our stuff. Your project is putting it together in a way that when we tell the world would understand that if it doesn't come from here, it doesn't meet this standard. Yes. And you've said, so that's factor number one in this thing that you're talking about. Factor number two is that you say it's 7 times, it's a premium, so it's worth 7 times what the thing below the premium is worth.
Yeah.
And therefore, you could actually be creating, because people who like premium things are going to want to go where the thing is sourced. What do you call it now? Harvested at source. See, so you want to be able to produce castor oil in your factory in Europe, but you want to know that you've harvested your castor oil from Jamaica. So you're introducing Jamaica to the world, opening up the opportunity for us to sell volumes of these things, but we're historically not known for being able to produce volumes. How do we make sure that as we're about to tell the world how great it is, and they're going to want to come buy it, and we're going to have the standards to prove that it's actually from here with all the things that you need in it, what are we also doing to make sure that we can produce as much as the world is going to be able to demand?
I think one of the things that one of the strengths and the beauty and the blessings of this project is that we have been able to garner all the stakeholders to be a part of this. So in addition to the JBU Grow Castor being clustered, Jamaica Castor Industry Association, which represents the industry, we also have been working with the Jamaica Agricultural Society, with RADA, etc. The Jamaica Bauxite Institute, the Jamaica Business Development Center. So once the results come out, we have a partnership in terms of all these groups, which I think can help to ensure that there is a systematization of what we're doing. And what I want to tell you, in the project, one of the things we're doing, so in addition to collecting the seeds to make the oil, we're also collecting seeds to make what we call a seed germplasm bank. And from that seed germplasm bank, we're going to be, in a second phase, once we have the funding, growing cultivars. And we're going to reckon what do we grow. And from the cultivars, we'll have what you call seed banks. So we're setting the basis for an industry. Secondly, one of the things that you don't want to do, though, we have to time. So when the GI comes out, it will provide opportunities. But to get those opportunities, we have to enforce the GI. So there has to be a where we have partners in our various markets, and the 4 biggest markets for Jamaican black castor oil are the United States, United Kingdom, the European Union, and Canada.
Right.
So within those markets, we have to ensure that we have partners who will enforce the geographic industry. And once that is being enforced now, you have to have a sort of the timing, because sometimes in Jamaica we say, okay, plant, but when we plant tomatoes, etc., we see it over and over. There's a glut. So you can't plant too soon, but you can't plant too late. So it's going to take a big industry effort, public and private sector and other partners to make it happen. And we're trying our very best in this instance to make it so.
And the other thing that I noted, which is a challenge I have observed as a country, is this I don't remember the name of the former governor of the Bank of Canada and the UK. He was at some point, can't remember his name now. He used this term which I always like, and because it's so applicable to Jamaica, is this the tyranny of the horizon, this thing where we focus so much on what's in front of us and never look enough at what's coming. And I found that we lost sugar because we didn't have culturally an understanding of, we didn't see when it was about to go and therefore plan for it. And so that's a cultural thing that if you say that, castor oil, when will we be able to observe, how can we create systems with this industry you're trying to create and all the value that could come from it in a holistic sense? How do we create a way for us to see when it's going to the tipping point? I don't know if you're contemplating that, and I'm not putting you on the spot, but I think that's part of the challenge.
And what you have described are 2 things, right? One is what you call an innovation system, which is able to assess where we are, where we need to go, what resources are required, how do you pull those resources together in a way that works for Jamaica. So we have to build that kind of system, not just in castor. We have to repeat it over and over, which is where you're going. And also, one of the things that you find with successful industries globally, successful industries work in clusters. So a cluster really is a group of firms, large and small firm, research and development organizations like the Mono Institute and UWI, which support these industries. But the critical is that has to have size, mass, and it must trade, meaning that we have to link into the global economy in a competitive way. So we have to build those things. And what I wanted to maybe give an example of when you speak about the tyranny of the horizon and not being, myopic, is that one of the things we have been trying to build here is a cosmetic industry. And Jamaican black castor oil offers, I think, the basis, because in addition to the science and the technology, you have to have the money. So if we're earning money, it gives the velocity to an industry. And it can form the basis, because Jamaican black castor oil, and within this project, we're looking at soaps. We're looking at how you utilize the waste material. How do you turn the castor meal, which comes after you crush the seeds, into fertilizer, etc. So it's a multitude of things can come from it. But what I want to say is that most excitingly, from our perspective, it can form the basis of a very strong cosmetic industry that we can then marry with the herbs and spices in Jamaica, and we can develop those in the same way.
Great.
So from the UWI's perspective, what we're pivoting towards is more and more is innovation, industrial research and innovation for business creation, which is really the mantra of my group and team here at the Monash Institute of Applied Sciences.
Well, I'm very excited to hear that, because many people have felt, and I've been privy to conversations and perspectives that suggest that university professors and researchers tend to go do the research and are very happy to drink a bit of wine and talk among themselves with the research, and it is of no good to us in the society when it's supposed to be. So perhaps you're proving those naysayers wrong.
We hope so. Yes.
We hope so. But the other part that we need to do, and so I'm going to challenge you and your group now, is we are largely not, again, culturally, right? So it happens in small bits, but culturally, we're not much of an R&D and innovation conscious country. We have a very strange idea about what innovation is, so companies that spin off innovation units expect to see profit turned in 2 years, where sometimes, innovation has that 10 to 15 year gap before you actually start to see any momentum for its success. Is there a way that while you are doing this change culturally, we can also help to educate the nation and the decision makers about
I think what we find is one of the things that we find. I heard your radio just popped up a while ago, so I'm just turning it off.
Yeah, right? I know there's a delay. Yeah, I'm saying, to generate that kind of a consciousness about how innovation really works among those people who really need to be enablers of innovation in the way that it can work for us, like you've said. So it's not an expectation that you have this idea and in 2 years you're going to be making this massive profit and therefore the investment is worth it. But that largely, if you study the trajectory of innovation, it takes more time, and you have to do really good work to then start to benefit.
What I'll share. So I'm in this thing for about 20 years, right? And I've found the same challenges that you have. I find that our business community really doesn't understand innovation and R&D. And what you say is absolutely true. I also find that to some extent the government struggles with that as well, because it's utilized by political timeframes of 5 years, right? So you have those challenges. But what I find is that, and what I'm seeing, so several things that come from the question you asked. What I found is that money stays with what it knows. Right? So we have money in tourism, we have money in trading, we have money in real estate, and these days sometimes money in a bit of finance, right? So people stay to what they know. So what you need is a really new class of entrepreneur who understand technology, R&D interface. And it needs financiers who understand the dynamic that you just described. So for example, when we are fortunate to have collaborators in different countries. And particularly, we do some work with Norway. And I find that they have a much longer time horizon. And they totally, and they have what they call patient capital. So it doesn't necessarily bring you a lot immediately, but it brings you sustainable, steady, and strong capital over the 10 to 15 year time frame. So you're right. And so what needs to happen is that, and where we have come to at this point, is that we think that you need to demonstrate it. And I remember a mentor of mine who's now long retired, he's in his 90s, Canute Miller. You know, he always says that we are a snow cone country, right? Meaning that if one person start making snow cone, then all of us start making snow cone, right? Snow cone. So the question is, I think we need examples.
Yes.
And if you go back to the tourism industry, which is perhaps our biggest trading cluster, it started with boutique hotels. People saw how they worked and then expanded. So what we want to do is not to take 50, 70 years to do what tourism industry has done, but we need to find a systematic way of doing it a lot quicker. And we need to bring people on board who I think have the openness to try and understand and show them how this thing can work. And I think the Jamaica black casserole industry is one good example. And there are others that that I think will follow. But in the news, what we're talking about is Jamaica black casserole.
And Dr. Reed, I want to thank you. A perfect place for us to end. We're going to keep our eyes on this because I want it to be successful so that you prove the model, like we've been discussing. And hopefully we can start to eke out more of that 300 million and even increase it and still get the lion's share of that. Thank you so much for talking to us today about castor oil, a little bit of the history and maybe a kind of a projection toward the future, what the future could be for castor oil in Jamaica. Thank you, sir. Dr. Howard Reed, the director of the Mona Institute of Applied Sciences, talking to us about that rich product and perhaps how, as a country, we could become rich by it. This is Engage. It's a drive time entertainment choice right here on the family station, Love 101.
By Grace Foods is
6:14, folks, on the family station, Love 101.
On Sunday, September 18, the People's National Party will host its 84th annual conference under the theme Time Come for a Better Jamaica, beginning at 1 p.m. Leader of the opposition and president of the People's National Party, Mr. Mark Golding, will be addressing the nation. Listen at 1:30 p.m. as Love 101 FM will be on location. This broadcast is sponsored by the People's National Party. That's the People's National Party 84th annual conference this Sunday, September 18 at 1:30 p.m. live on the family station, Love 101.
We are family.
I'm Siobhan Blair, Youth Ambassador for the family station, Love 101. Young people, we are living unprecedented times, but I implore you to choose hope. Once you choose hope, anything is possible. Let's reignite the love.
You know what's sweet? The new pack Sweet Living promotion. Win great prizes.
Bedroom set, living room set, kitchen appliance set, plus TVs and monthly cash prizes.
Send in 5 new pack labels. Labels must belong to at least the new pack corned beef, new pack Vienna sausages, and sauces categories.
Below the tagline, new pack, more than just value.
Place your entry in one of the drop boxes at participating outlets or enter by mail. Time to live sweet. Enter the new pack Sweet Living promotion. August 28th to November 19th. See the press for more details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Do you have a heart condition? Your care should be in the hands of our experienced cardiovascular team at Partners Interventional Center of Jamaica. We're one of the leading heart centers for angiogram, stenting, pacemakers, EP studies, and ablation therapy. PICJ has the expertise and latest technology to treat all your heart needs. Call 876-995-7425 or email info@pic-jm.com for appointments. PICJ, your partners for life.
So the beauty about embracing tech is that it adds value in ways that sometimes aren't really readily seen. But today we'll be highlighting some solutions to improve the day-to-day human experience, and Christopher Gale has implemented some of these solutions through his company, Izada. Welcome, Christopher Gale, not the singer or cricketer, the tech entrepreneur.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. Really
I'm
appreciate
glad
that.
to have you, sir. So Gizada is the name of your tech outfit, which you'll tell us a little bit more shortly. But let's first start with how this name, how you see the people them snack and call your business by that popular, well-loved Jamaican treat.
Yes. So my sister is a chef and she makes guisados, so that's one thing. And I was always really fond of those. And it's also something that my friends and I share. It's something that we're accustomed to, like, you pick up and you bring it, you share it with your loved ones. So it was just, a very nice sentimental thing amongst, the team that was coming together to start the business. And
Yeah.
then, it's a tech business and I'm inspired by Microsoft and especially Apple. And I was like, okay, Apple,
Gizada?
what Gizada, yeah. So
Yeah. I
here
mean,
we are.
Microsoft is not particularly creative. That's just like Microsoft Ware. That's where that
Right.
came from. No, not a lot of creativity went into that. But what I love about Gizada is the fact that when it becomes a global thing, you're not only talking about a global company out of Jamaica, but also brandishing this popular, indigenous Jamaican coconut-based treat. So, you're doing two things at the same time, making it a part of the culture is being popularized.
Being part of the culture with us, yes. That's definitely a really important thing to us, like focusing on making the space better, making our community better and bringing that with us as we expand across the world as well.
Right. What is this that you're doing though? Tell us what happens at Gizada.
So we started out as a web development agency, so we'd make websites for clients and so on. As time went along, we started to observe, the issues in the community, and we were thinking, how can we use software to solve some of these problems? So
What kind of
we
issues?
um, all types of issues. I mean, it depends on the industry. One of the things we started with was an app called Get There, which is similar to Uber or Lyft. We were thinking about
Oh yeah,
safety.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember Get There. You
Yeah.
guys did a pitch at a tech competition back in 2017 or 2016.
Right.
Pitch in
Right.
Caribbean.
Yes, we did. We did. So we've just been looking at the different issues around us, things that affect our friends, and we're like, all right, I've had friends who've been robbed, in taxis and stuff. So that was kind of the impetus at that point in time to try and solve that problem and create a safer space. So
How
we
far
just
did you get? No pun intended. How far did you get with that?
um, I think we got pretty far. I think what happened is other things started to pull us away from it.
Oh.
And because it opened a lot of doors for us, it showed a lot of people what we could do.
Capable of.
And right, exactly. And then the client work kind of outpaced our ability to invest and focus it.
Innovate on that idea.
In
Okay,
that
okay, fine. So you try to solve a problem in transportation and safety. Tell me another solution you try to offer. Pick another
So
industry.
another industry we looked at was education. This was before Get There. We wanted to create like a digital grade book so that the teachers could collect grades and that data would be available to regional bodies, to the government to be able to say, okay, math is suffering in this region, biology is strong in this region. It was just about being able to collate that information and help the government, I suppose, enact policies that were better targeted based on, the real results of all the students being aggregated and analyzed. But that was a bit ambitious for a very early project. And in 2012, that was before Jamaica was so ready for technology to be implemented on that level. So we would have put that aside as well. And then I'll just throw in one more. We've done a music streaming service that we actually want to bring back probably during the course of next year. Its its key point was that it could blend music. So it was like a AI but felt like a DJ. So we just
That's pretty
whatever
cool,
the
right?
things. Yeah.
And what are you
So
working on now?
now our focus is a platform called Jamaica, Jamaker, and really that was the most organic one. That one was what we built in order to manage working on the others. So it's a productivity platform. It pretty much is a way for us to manage our business, and being a startup, there's a lot of things you have to learn, and you don't really get any tools out of the box. You know, there's not the entrepreneurship space is young. Mentorship takes a while to acquire. So, you have to do accounting, you have to organize your team, and figure out how you're going to work remotely, especially when you're not a big business with an office. So, we had to kind of create a solution that was like our digital office, and it just so turned out that that is what most people have wanted from us. So we're kind of focused on making that more available so that Jamaicans are able to get their businesses online, kind of set up a digital office, help with the remote work, but it also comes with features that lets you set up a website and so on. So it's really just a end-to-end system to help Jamaicans have a smoother process in setting up their businesses online. And I think as a small business ourselves, it would be hard for us to solve every problem in Jamaica. So I think where we are is trying to find the best way to give as many entrepreneurs the tools that they could use so that we can all kind of work together in a way to make the space better.
Do you find? I remember that same project that I mentioned, Pitch It Caribbean. There was an idea somewhere in that project of trying to create a kind of a Silicon Valley of the Caribbean or within the Caribbean. I mean, in retrospect, that probably was never going to work in the way that it was being imagined, because these things that happen in these other spaces tend to emerge because of lots of different things. One key thing being there are institutions there that make it happen. There's a lot of money, like the previous guest says, things stay where the money stays. Money stays where, so
where
there's
what
money.
it knows. Yeah.
Right. But one thing that was a bit of a challenge was, as culturally, we don't really know how to collaborate as well. And there's always this fear that someone's going to steal your idea. And that can sometimes prevent innovation from sparking, because innovation becomes exponential when there are more people working on it with more ideas.
Right.
How are you guys managing to come up with and push and stress test your ideas if you are not able to share the ideas with as many people for fear that somebody will steal it?
So I think you can't even avoid it. If someone's going to copycat and come into the space, they're definitely going to do that. I think we have to have a culture, we have to promote the culture of collaboration and kind of be more open to partnerships so that people feel more comfortable reaching out, having the conversations. Sometimes there's brick walls between different sets of entrepreneurs for different reasons, and they don't reach across and have a discussion. I think if we it's so weird, that it's such a small island and it's so few of us, but yet we're so divided amongst each other. We could just we live in the same town, we're not far, we could just have a conversation, figure it out, and see how we're going to be able to grow. But I don't think that people are always focused on expansion. Like when many entrepreneurs start, they're thinking about a very limited local space. They're not going to try to create a system that they can replicate elsewhere. So there is a lot of infighting because we're focused on just the local space. Whereas if we collaborated and figured out how to make the perfect thing work here locally, we could also combine our strengths and bring it abroad and get an even bigger versus arguing the smaller slices.
Bigger markets. All right. So tell people quickly how we can find JA Maker or Jamaica. Or how we can get in touch with you so that businesses, as you said, it helps businesses to do their business, to start a business and start a business online and do it efficiently, and you can be successful. How can people get in touch to start that? 30 seconds.
Sorry, so the best way to find us is on jamaker.com. All the information is there. You can sign up, and once you sign up, there's a convenient button that you can use to literally direct message myself and the team, and we're able to just guide you along, help you out. And we're even developing custom solutions. So if you need something special, you can reach out to us and we will be able to help you get going. Regardless of the industry, we are willing to figure it out and help everyone get online.
JAMAKER.com, right?
Yeah, man, that's it.
Maker.com. Thank you so much, Christopher Gale. If you can tell me in like 10 seconds, what's next for Jamaica? No, what's next for Giza? That's one of the products.
So what's next for Gizada is to finish getting the word of Jamaica out there, and we also have a game coming out because that's something that we love doing as well. It's called Enter Zion, so you can look out for that game as well. It's a mobile game, family friendly, everything.
Brilliant. We'll be in touch, and we're gonna. I just went on the website, and I'm gonna check it out and maybe talk about it in subsequent weeks. Thank you so much. Congrats for all the work you've been doing, and
thank you.
And I wish you guys success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Really. Respect.
Okay, that takes care of that. And I'm going to tell you very quickly what's happening for the weekend. Not a lot, but Tabs Talk Live, virtual show in association with the Ashley Company, presents its 8th season, premiere, season 8, happening on Monday the 19th. It's Emancipation Park. It's the takeover of Digicel Rising Stars with contestants. So if you're into that, you can check it out. But we do have Fabian Grizzle, who is the head of communication for that group, to tell us a little bit more about it. Fabian, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Fabian. Give us a quick idea of what's going on with the virtual show that you're about to have out there in the park.
Okay, so Tabs Talk Live. Tabs Talk Live is an initiative, it's an online show from the Tabs Project. The Tabs Project is a social development arm of the Asher Company. And this project is mainly surrounding lifestyle, health, and wellness. And so with Tabs Talk Live, we do an online weekly show where we talk about topics around those things, lifestyle, health, and wellness. Our audience primarily targets young people ages 16 to say 35. And so on Monday afternoon into the evening from 4 to 8 p.m., we'll be launching our 8th season of Tabs Talk Live in Emancipation Park. We are doing it a little bit bigger than we have done it in the past, where we'll just launch in our studio and go live. But we decided to take things up a little bit and take it to the Emancipation Park. So we are also widening our audience and involving more people. And so we're doing that. We're giving away free testing, free health checkup, blood pressure checks, sugar checks, COVID-19 vaccinations, and other services. We're having multiple sponsors come on board, Maggie, Court, and just to name a few, who will be there with their live booths so people can come and interact with the booth. And then at 7 p.m., that's when we go live with the virtual show on our social media at the Tabs Project on YouTube and Instagram. So people will also be able to watch that virtually if they're not present at Emancipation Park.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Fabian Grizzle, for
no
sharing.
problem. Thank you for having me.
Tabs Project Live happening on Monday, live Emancipation Park, but also on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. All right, Long Story Short is back with an evening of short stories and laughter. September 24 is when that happens, and it's going to be staged. This is an event that's staged every last Saturday at the Lazy Lizard Lounge, Grosvenor Terrace. It goes from 8 until 10, and it's a show where 8 storytellers share a true story about themselves under a theme of the night, and they need to do it in 5 minutes or less in a conversational fashion. So it's interesting. I think. You may want to check that one out. That takes care of our upcoming segment and quite on the show. But I have to tell you, the songs that you're going to add to your playlist, the pop songs, Aaron Cole featuring Toby Mac, Don't Worry, Toby Mac featuring Blessing Offer. The song is called The Goodness. Taryn Wells has got a song in there called Fake It. And those are the 3 songs that you need to add to your playlist, some pop gospel songs. Saying thanks to SpurOpen.com for presenting our events. SpurOpen.com is a Jamaican online platform designed to simplify online payments for charities, churches, and event organizers and micro business owners. If you want to register your events, go to squareopen.com/events and click the button that says Get Started Now. Registration is free, and your event doesn't even have to be a paid event in order for you to join up. That takes care of Engage. Another in the series, Engage, your drive time entertainment and lifestyle choice right here on the family station, Love 101. Thanks to Davey and Shivani for taking care of things on the other side of the microphone. And to you for listening, appreciate it. Join us again next Friday. It starts at 5:30 and we should go until 6:30. Now we've kind of clearly gone over a little bit. Thank you so much, sir. What's on for the weekend?
Working.
You have to come up with some better stories. This is like the third week in a row that it's working.
But I'm not as free as you are.
What?
Almost I'm not as free as you are.
Oh, I don't even know if I'm that free. That's like a while ago. That was like what we say in Jamaica, pot a kettle black, right? Because I know that working weekend every week, but
Right.
you shouldn't follow me. You shouldn't follow me. You should get new habits, better habits.
I'm quite fine actually.
That never used to be the case. There were weekends when you were gonna do nothing, or you were gonna go to the beach, or it was just gonna be like, and now it's like
Well, true.
So
But
yeah,
life is happening.
Life is happening. But
It
anyway,
is.
do the best you can. Work as hard as you can, but make sure you get that balance. And we'll talk again next week.
Catch up with you. Have a good one.
Take care.
That was totally wicked!
This message will self-destruct.
You may now disengage.
Already 20 years I can run there. Hace 20 años en Jamaica.